Hello and welcome to the Ruby System Library. My name is Brad and I'll be guiding you on this fun digital tutorial to help you make your own liquid laundry detergent. Our liquid laundry detergent will be made from some common ingredients found in your home. One ingredient that we'll be using that you may not already have in your home is liquid castile soap. Castile soap can be found locally, but it can also be found online. There's a few different companies that make it. Historically, castile soap comes from a region of Spain and it's made from olive oil. In modern times, most of your castile soap is derived from a variety of plant-based or vegetable-based oils. The castile soap that we'll be using today is derived largely from olive oil, but also from coconut oil, palm kernel oil, and hemp oil, and a few other organic plant-based oils. So this is our main ingredient, or principal ingredient. And today we'll be making our concentrate. We'll be mixing our ingredients in a jar to make our concentrate, but ultimately we want to put our finished concentrate into a gallon-sized container, then fill that up with water, and then we have our gallon of liquid laundry detergent that can be used for about 64 loads. You only need about a quarter cup of the finished product for a regular standard size load of laundry. So one of the supplies that you will need that I'm not supplying is a gallon-sized container, a used liquid laundry detergent container, can be cleaned out and repurposed for a vessel to store our finished product. An empty, cleaned out milk jug can also be used. I like to use a milk jug because it can be easily poured. You're less likely to spill it all over the place. But any gallon-sized container is needed for our finished product. If you have a half-gallon sized container, then you simply just need to cut our recipe in half and make so that your total volume is only a half gallon and not a gallon. But again, so for right now, we're going to start with making our concentrate. We're going to be using a jar just because I think it's a convenient way to mix our ingredients and store them for later if we don't want to immediately turn our concentrate into our finished product. So I have a jar handy that we'll be using. The ingredients we need to assemble is our castile soap, which I'm supplying in our take and make kits. We need a cup of liquid castile soap. We will be using a third of a cup of salt, and I have these instructions written down in our take and make kits that will be available. And then we need 1 cup of baking soda. So to start off with, we're just going to take our 2 cups of warm water. Warm water, it doesn't need to be boiling, but warm or hot water is best when you're dissolving products because the compounds that you're dissolving simply dissolve better in warm water. So add my 2 cups of water in the jar. And I'm using a pretty good sized jar because I'm adding the 2 cups of water for the concentrate, another cup of the castile oil, a cup of the baking soda, and a third cup of salt. With a smaller jar, you quickly fill up too much space and you don't have any room to mix things. So that's why we're using a slightly bigger jar than you may be used to, which I'll be supplying. So first I'm going to add my salt. And you don't need to mix the salt first. I always like to take my time and mix the salt a little bit before I enter my baking soda. I've got my baking soda and salt and other ingredients pre-measured. So this is a half a cup of baking soda. So I need another one of these to make my cup. And then I will mix this up before I add my castile soap. Finally, 1 cup pre-measured liquid castile soap. And that just about takes me to the top of the jar. I just need to lightly mix this. Because the castile soap is largely oil, it is oil, you're going to get some separation if you just leave it sitting out. The oils and the water separate, and that's okay. So here's my liquid castile soap concentrate that I can either set aside, or if I'm ready to use it, then I do need to have my cleaned out gallon container ready, and then I just need to pour the concentrate into the gallon container. And I'm going to pour it back into my measuring cup, because it's got a spout that I can easily pour it. And you'll be able to tell that I didn't mix it completely well enough. So I pour a little bit back in here, and I did that on purpose to show you that if it sits on your counter or somewhere for a while, it's going to separate a little. So just mix it up as best you can. Now my jar is largely cleaned out and empty. I'm just going to pour it into my gallon container without spilling. If you've ever used baking soda with a liquid, you'll know that the baking soda sort of becomes pasty if it's not mixed well enough. So really make sure that you mix all your ingredients so that you can pour your mixture into your final container. And if it doesn't pour out completely, just add a little bit more of this water. And try to pour that back in. There we go. So now, with my gallon-sized container, some people will erroneously think that they're done and this is it, and this is all the soap they get, and there's no way they're going to get 64 loads of laundry out of this. But it's important to remember that we've just made a concentrate. We haven't made our finished product. So once your concentrate's in your gallon container, just fill up the rest with water, and you're good to go. You only need 1/4 cup for a standard sized load of laundry. But that should be a fun, easy way to avoid some chemicals in your liquid laundry detergent and have a natural way of washing clothes. So thank you for joining us, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. And stay tuned each month. I'll be hosting a do-it-yourself or take-and-make activity here at the library, where you can come pick up some materials for a useful or fun craft every month. And again, my name is Brad, and you've been joining us on the Ruby Sisson Library's website, pagosalibrary.org, or on the library's Facebook page.